Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Universary. Today, I have a handful of small claims matters before Judge Jeffrey Middleton, Magistrate Donald Chisholm, and in Thurston County, Washington. I could not catch the judge's or commissioner's name in that case, but watching these, I think these cases might be a big reason why our judges are being aged prematurely. I can't fathom how they handle case after case after case like this. Are you suing the right party? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know how to conduct yourself in front of a judge without being rude? It's a lot. And in one of these cases, I will warn you up front, we do not get a result. I tried to look it up, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to find an answer. If I ever do, I will update this. All right, let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you enjoy.
And we have a representative at J&J Bail Bonds of Grand Rapids. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Yes, sir, I can.
What's your name?
Roland, Roland, last name Johnson.
And what's your position with J&J Bail Bonds?
Manager.
The defendant in that case is Sharon Street, posting a bond on behalf of Kybron Street, who I think is back in jail now. This is interesting, Mr. Johnson. I haven't had a case like this in years. When COVID hit, the bail companies quit looking for the defendant, at least the ones posting here, and nothing ever happened. And we forfeited some bonds and attempted to forfeit some, and I think they just figured it was cost of doing business. So in this case, it's interesting that the bonding company is actually going after the surety for posting the bond, because for a time, Judge Pattis was really frustrated. There was no consequence for someone failing to appear. All right, Mr. Johnson, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Let me check with the bailiffs to make sure Miss Street is not here. This is a claim for $1,250. It's alleged that Miss Street filed as a surety for a bond for her son Kybron Street. That's spelled K-H-Y-B-R-E-N. And apparently he forfeited a bond. Mr. Johnson, what's the status of this?
Oh, okay. Yes, it was lodged on about October 2nd. But going back to the claim is on or about July 4th of 2023, went to the contract with Miss Sharon Street on a $5,000 bond to get her son Kybron out of jail. So she signed a contract guaranteeing his appearance in court. Unfortunately, it looks like around July 17 of 2023, we were notified that he failed to appear on our $5,000 bond. I had been in contact with Miss Street on a regular basis for around 3 weeks, and then she just stopped answering her phone call or responding to the mail. We had to end up sending a recovery team out to go look for Mr. Street, and she's been assessed the fees involved for him missing court and for the recovery team.
Well, I'm gratified to know a recovery team was actually looking. Here she is now. I hate this when people are late. 7 minutes late. No, she's not connected, and I think she's driving. Here she is. Miss Street, can you hear me?
Barely.
Well, that's on you, not on me. Where are you? I don't know if she can hear us.
I can hear you now.
All right. Are you driving a car?
I'm parked. I'm sitting at a
All right, you're
station.
late. We've been waiting for 8 minutes for you to show up. And so we actually started the hearing. It was scheduled at 3 o'clock, not 3:08. Mr. Roland Johnson is here from J&J Bail Bonds. I can't see you, but I can hear you. Would you please raise your right hand?
I have my right hand raised, but I don't know why you can't see me. It
Well,
says my
your
video.
camera is frozen. All right. Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief? I'm going to remove Miss Mauser and see if she comes back. Miss Street, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, this is very frustrating. Your signal keeps bopping in and out and your video feed is not very good. Where are you?
I'm in Ottawa, sitting at the gas station
Why don't you just drive to the courthouse?
because I have to be in Minden at the elementary school at 3:30.
Okay. Well, Mr. Johnson claims you owe $1,250 for Kybron failing to appear in his circuit court case, and they had to send a recovery team out to get him. What's your response to that?
Well, they didn't send a recovery team out to get him. He was arrested by Rivers Police Department for something else. So it's
Well, they
recovery
sent a
team.
recovery team to find him, but they couldn't find him, and you had signed as surety. Yeah, he got arrested, I think, October 2nd. So he's asking that I order that amount of money. What's your response?
I don't really have a.
All right. At least you're here barely, late and barely, but I find after trial, there is real no defense. It is what it is. You owe $1,250, $63.50 for a total judgment of $1,313.50. Stated today's date. Are you still at the East State Street address?
Yes, I am.
Can you make any sort of monthly payment on that?
I can try.
How much? Can you pay $100 per month?
No,
All right, I'll just leave the judgment as it is. Are you employed someplace?
yes, I am.
Where do you work?
St. Joseph County, Iowa.
Okay. Well, you know what the collection practice is. You can, I guess, garnish her wages. She's not willing to do $100 a month. When
I
people
don't
post
mind
a
doing
bond for
$100,
somebody,
but I can't. I barely can feed my kids. My
all right,
mortgage
well,
is 2 months behind.
all right, well,
I don't even have enough to live.
this is on Kybron. He put you in this position. You signed as a surety for him. J&J bail bonds guaranteed that he would show up. He didn't show up, and then you signed a contract that says if he doesn't show up, he can go after you. And so if I were to have him in here, I'd give him a little advice, but he's left you owing $1,313.50. Um, so I guess I'll just leave it at that. Mr. Johnson, would you accept something less than $100?
No, I would not.
All right. All right, Ms. Street, you have 21 days to pay that. If you don't pay it, they can pursue other collection remedies.
One of my checks is not even that much
Okay.
to pay it in 21 days.
Well, I don't expect you to pay it in 21 days. I expect that they're going to try to collect by garnishing your wages or doing other collection action. But Kyburn's not in a position to pay it right now, but he's the one that put you in this position. All right, you're free to go. You got kids to pick up.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I've reviewed what's been submitted. And as I understand it, you took your pet to the Olympia Veterinary Specialist Agency. They were going to do a urine test. Apparently there were some issues with that. And then you took it to a different veterinarian, and then the appropriate, as far as I can tell, the appropriate care was administered. And is your animal fine now?
Yes.
Okay. So you're asking for $2,500. I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Swear you in. I'll hear from you, and I'll have you break down why you feel the Olympia Veterinary Specialist Organization owes you that. Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. So how is it that the Olympia Veterinary Specialists group owes you that amount of money?
So after I had to take him, so I took him at his initial symptoms, like within an hour, 2 hours of noticing that he had any type of symptoms, to Olympia Veterinary Specialists. They had me pay almost $900 up front before administering any tests.
How much? You said $900?
Yeah, it was $895. $895.30. And I had called throughout the whole weekend because they sent Zeus home that night with no treatment plan at all, stating due to his stable health condition, so he wasn't dehydrated, nothing like that. He just had urinary tract symptoms, urinating, incontinent, that I could take him home, and they would give me a call the next day. I called them multiple times, Your Honor, trying to get results because he was not getting better, and I had no treatment plan for him. He went the whole weekend getting sicker and sicker, delusional, head pressing. He was even trying to push his whole body into corners of furniture and walls. And it was very heart-wrenching to watch him suffer. And by Monday morning, he was so sick he could barely even stand. He was completely dehydrated from drinking and just urinating nonstop. That I had to get him in to the vet, and I called OVS again, asking them what to do because I had already given them almost $900. I couldn't afford to have these tests ran again by another veterinary office. That's when it came to the realization that the whole weekend, I don't know how they did not have any other samples that went out to their lab, and that they didn't notice Zeus's urine sample was in the box the whole entire time. Nobody called the lab to check up on it, to follow up on it. They even mentioned how odd it was that they hadn't gotten the results yet. And then they did give me the refund. However, due to the severity of him going without medical care in a timely manner, he had to be admitted and have IVs and have fluid. And by this point, he was so sick, my veterinary's like, I don't know. I mean, I want to rule things out, but now his urine is so diluted, we have to send it out and wait for cultures to grow because it was just like basically testing water at this point. Zeus wasn't like that on Friday. If they would have followed through and followed up on their work and what they would have done, he wouldn't have gotten to that point. It wouldn't have been that severe. And it wouldn't have costed me between the medications and the antibiotics and his doctor bill. It was over $1,700 that I ended up having to pay. Now I knew on Friday I was gonna have to pay the 900, but almost double, like, and it was all because of their negligence, because they didn't follow up. They could have simply called a lab and found out that those samples were never there.
Okay. But okay, and so that's about, hang on, so I'm looking for it because I saw it. Is that the Cascade West?
Yeah, that's his primary bet.
And then the bill that I see is 151345. Was there more than that? You said $1,700.
Yeah, there should be a few more in there for medications and
I see. I see the 109 and then 39. And you say you did get you got refunded the $895.30, which is essentially $900.
yes.
Okay. And so how does that get up to 2,500? That's where I'm confused.
Well, I was just charging them for the whole veterinary bill from Cascade.
Say that again, please.
I was charging them for the whole Cascade bill.
Right, but that comes to about
And then-
1,700.
Yeah, and then
more or less.
I lost a day and a half of work, and then my emotional distress of watching my dog suffer the way that I did.
All right. I'm going to hear from Mr. Allen. Could you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What's your position on all of this?
Well, clearly, there's no disputing that the urine sample was not submitted to the laboratory, or I should say it did not arrive at the laboratory. This was over the weekend. Urine is usually put out into a box outside. The laboratory usually drives by and picks things up. They did not. We're not sure why at this point, why that did not occur, but it is not uncommon for these samples not to come back with results on a weekend until the very beginning of the next week. So nobody thought it was that unusual that we hadn't received the results as of yet. As of Monday, when they found the results were not in the system, that is when it was found out that the sample hadn't been submitted. So that alone was enough to make us feel that we should reimburse Amber for the full amount of the visit, which is what we did on the 11th. The rest of the issue here has to do with our hospital policy is that we are unable to reimburse for expenses at another hospital because we did not have any control over that visit.
I think what I'm getting her point is, had this test been done and they got the results on Monday, then maybe, and the dog could have been treated earlier, they probably wouldn't have had to been admitted, and she gained some additional expenses based on the failure to have the urine tested. That's my understanding of that. So I guess I would have you respond to that.
Certainly, but once again, I was not. So like I said, I'm the managing partner of Olympia Veterinary Specialist. Well, actually, ER Union in this particular case, because that's the ER situation. The doctor that saw this case, I can't speak to her decision process. It's pretty clear that urinary tract infection was not high on the list of potential causes of this issue. So that's one of the reasons why the pet went home, and that's why usually negligent charges are against individual doctors, not against the hospital as a whole. But from the hospital's perspective, on the additional charges to Cascade Veterinary Hospital, we weren't there for the exam. We weren't there for the decision of what tests should be run and whether they were appropriate or not. Nor could I speak to whether they were appropriate or not, because once again, I wasn't there, nor was any of my doctors there for that exam discussion with the owner.
But had the test been run, that UTI or urinary tract infection, would that have revealed itself on the Monday? And when, again, I'm not a doctor or a vet, but if you diagnose something sooner before it gets too bad, then that's better, obviously, to take care of it before. So I guess, had that test been run, would everyone have known about it on Monday?
Would have known by, well, once again, I can't speak to the laboratory issue from the laboratory's perspective. Culture and sensitivities require growing bacteria, so it does take time. And whether we would have had the full results of the test back by Monday is not, I can't really address that. We sometimes do, but quite often do not. It can tell us earlier whether there was a urinary tract infection. But once again, I'm being asked to kind of to work into diagnoses here. The symptoms of that is being described here are very atypical for urinary tract infection. So once again, we're talking about a doctor who did the exam, coming up with a treatment plan, or deciding on a treatment plan based on what she saw and her experience.
This is the doctor from your clinic.
This is a doctor in our clinic, yes.
All right. And was that, hang on just a second.
Actually, I probably should restate that. Dr. Wendy Evans is a independent relief doctor, ER relief doctor. She's not actually employed by our hospital, except as a relief doctor.
Give me a minute there. How long was, and Ms. Burgess, how long was your pet at the Cascade West? You said she was admitted for how long?
He was admitted for IV fluids overnight. And then I went and picked him up later on that next day, late in the evening. He came home with a bubble pack with more hydration, and I ended up having to take him back the very next day for more hydration. So we were in and out of the vet. He stayed Monday night. I picked him up Tuesday late afternoon, and then I had to miss work and take him back on Wednesday to have the antibiotics and more hydration pack done. At this point, he had blood coming out of his urethra. I mean, like it was pretty traumatic until he just continued to decline. And when speaking of the lab work over the weekend, I was told on Friday I would get those lab results on Saturday with a treatment plan that I never got. So that was the main reason for all my calling all weekend, is because I was supposed to have those results before Monday.
Got it. So on Monday, and then when was your animal admitted again?
He was admitted Monday.
I'm sorry?
He was admitted Monday.
I see.
By the time I got answers on Monday, he was severely sick, and I called them bawling and crying because of how bad he was.
Um, and when were you expecting a call with the results, I guess?
Saturday morning, the following
I
day.
see. I'm just reviewing these records here for your subsequent visit. I'm going to step off for about 3 minutes and then I'll come back and give a decision. Be back in a minute.
Our first small claims matter is Aaron's Sales and Lease versus Taya Pashby. File number is 231218 SC. Rogelio Segundo, the current manager at Aaron's Sales and Lease, has logged in. Good afternoon, Mr. Segundo.
Hello.
Would you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
And what's your position at Aaron's?
Customer account manager.
This is a claim for $1,832.05 for the rental of a television that she said her son broke it. She offered to come in and work on some payment, but she never came in. She said she didn't want to pay to own a broken television. She never came back. She made only one payment of $37 on this.
Yeah, those were my notes. We offered to retype it and lower her cost on it because we know that, you know, it's a broken TV. There's not much we can do to repair it. The screen was completely cracked. But we did want to lower her payments and maybe get her a different TV. But she never came in. You know, I'd be more than willing to discuss what we could do to help her out. But
well, the fact that she broke your TV is not on you. Now, in addition, she was very difficult to serve. She apparently lives at the address that was on the rental agreement on South River Road. We tried certified mail. She refused. Sergeant Morse made multiple trips to that address, spoke to her roommate. Roommate said she does live there, but she's not home. He was there on 9/7, 9/12, 9/13, 9/21, and 9/30. And the mail is addressed and mailed to that address. The last time he went there, there were dogs out and he couldn't even get out of the car. So we do have alternative service. So she rented this expensive television, made one payment, broke it, failed to return it, failed to come in and make an appointment, and failed to accept certified mail or posting or other service. So I find she is served by alternative service. You're going to ask for a default. Is that correct?
yeah,
All right, $1,832.05. Court costs of $83.50 and other service fee of $73.49. I'm surprised it wasn't more than that. Alternative service. $1,989.04. Now, the next difficult task will be to try to collect on this. But you have a judgment and you can attempt to collect. It won't do much good to recover this broken television because it's worth about zero. All right. She's not here. I didn't expect she would be. Let me look just for a second. She has a warrant out for her arrest right now from July. Different address. Hey, that's why she didn't want to see Sergeant Morse. She's also got unpaid traffic tickets and some other problems. All right, if anybody knows Taya Pashby, tell her to get herself over here. Take care of these things. All right, good luck trying to collect and trying to find her, but there is presently a misdemeanor warrant for her arrest. All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Motorola. Could you state your name?
Deborah Facemeyer.
Yes, that's what I thought. Let me give you a proper name.
Your Honor, you spelled my name wrong.
Well, that won't be the first time. Debra, all right?
Yep. Sorry.
No need to apologize. All right, very good. I'll put you in the waiting room while we wait for Advantis. Don't go away.
Okay.
I had expected Advantis, but not her. I have her, but not Advantis. So we'll see who's coming for the plaintiff. Well, if anyone from Advantis Foot and Ankle Clinic is watching this, it was set for a discovery hearing today at 3:15 at your request. The defendant is here and you're not. Well, I don't think they're coming. So we'll excuse Miss Facemeyer here in just a minute or two. The record. Miss Facemeyer, I'm still waiting for them to show up. I've announced that they're not here. It was set for 3:15. You were here right on time. we had had a previous discovery hearing in February, and you were going to make some payments. Apparently you didn't make any, and they're still trying to collect on this debt. So I'm gonna be here for a little bit longer to do a couple of other matters. The reason I'm making you hold on is because I don't want you to go through this rigmarole all over again. Have them serve you all over again and,
Well,
but
I fully admit that I owe the money. I will not deny that in the least. I became homeless in March because of Maple Crest. I've been trying to find a job, but I'm limited on what I can do because of my disabilities. I just have not had the money to give them anything.
why because of Maple Crest?
Maple Crest, I came and saw you. They
Yes.
evicted us because we quit paying rent because of the poor we didn't have a bathroom 90% of the time.
No, I'm all in, and you needed to get out of there. Don't blame, you were paying $1,200 a month to live at a substandard housing. But the address we've got now is Angle Road, Constantine. Is that correct?
No,
Is that a mail address?
that is my mother's house and that's what I use for mail.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
The gentleman who, do not ask me what his name was because I couldn't tell you if my life depended on it, that served me, brought it to my cousin's house on Banker.
That would be probably Sergeant Bruce Morse from the Sheriff's Department.
Yes, that is the.
All right, he's very good at his job and he's very polite and respectful.
Oh, couldn't
Uh,
ask me. I forgot.
All right, so you presently do not have the ability to pay.
Not at this time. Like I said, I am busting my butt to get a job. I've gone on several interviews. I do not get hired for some reason. Certain jobs I can't even apply for because I cannot stand on my feet for more than an hour at a time. Or to be blunt with you, they give me a drug test. I fail it because I'm on Tylenol 3, which has opiates in it.
Well, hopefully you can find something, but I'm not gonna make you hang around here on the hope that they'll show up. Because they aren't here. So you're
Okay.
free to go. I will indicate you did appear. The mail address is still correct
Yes,
and you're presently unemployed.
yes, I am.
All right, but they're gonna continue to try to collect on this. So it was at 745.63. It's probably more than that now. All right, you're free to go.
Thank you.
This is file 23-00772. Plaintiff is Taylor Casario. Defendant is H.M. Mixon. Ms. Casario, is it your intention to stay in small claims?
Yes.
Ms. Mixon, is it your intention to stay in small claims?
Yes.
I ask each of you to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes. Yes.
First question I'm going to ask Ms. Mixon is to you. You have been sued for $600. Is there any portion of that sum that you acknowledge you owe?
No.
Ms. Casario, how did you get to the number $600? Why do you think she owes you $600?
That is her monthly payment. That was the last installment of her monthly payment towards me.
Payment for what?
The social media services that she hired me to perform for her.
Was there a contract?
No.
Was there any writing at all?
Yes.
And what kind of a writing do you have?
I have messages back and forth between us that I can provide to you.
It's not a writing. How many months did she pay you $600?
since June of last year,
When did she stop?
February, this past February.
So June of 2022 was the first payment. And then she paid for the balance of 2022 and for the month of January of 2023.
Yes, and then she discontinued services and I sent her her last invoice and that went unpaid.
Sent her an invoice after she had discontinued services.
Yes, I said, once the remaining balance is taken care of, you will be all set.
When did she discontinue your services?
The invoice was sent February
Ask you that.
14th.
The question I asked you is, when did Ms. Mixon discontinue your services?
It was on February 14th is when I finalized her services.
I didn't ask you what you did, ma'am. When did she discontinue you?
It was a few days prior to that when we had a conversation.
Ms. Mixon, do you know when you discontinued receiving the services of Ms. Casario?
Aisha Mixon did not have a relationship with Miss Casario. Rich Beauty Company had a relationship with Miss Casario and communicated with Miss Casario.
What's the name of the company?
Rich Beauty Company.
Ms. Casario, how did you get paid for the months of June, July through January of 2023? Were you
By
paid
check.
check? And who drew the check?
The owner of the company.
Was the check you received a company check?
Yes.
Why didn't you sue the company?
Isn't she the owner of the company, the president?
How are you going to prove that she owns a company?
She signed the check each month.
Okay, she signed a check on behalf of a company. Was your agreement with her or was it with the company?
It was, my agreement was with her, the owner of the company, and with the company.
Did you receive a 1099 for the monies for the calendar year 2022?
Did I receive a 1099? No, I just deposited those checks into my bank.
I'm talking about the payment of the taxes on that money.
Right.
Did you
I-
report that money as income?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what did you show as the source of the income on your tax return?
The checks that she provided me went into my business banking account. I took that to my accountant. He added everything up. I reported my taxes.
Okay, with $600 for what, 7 months?
Correct.
$200. I think anything over 600, you have to have a 1099.
I have my accountant handle all that for me. So if you would like, I can get with him.
Did you issue 1099s?
I'm sorry?
I asked Ms. Mixon if she issued 1099s.
You said, is the issue 1099?
No, what I said was, did Rich Beauty, whatever it was, issue 1099s for people that it paid money to?
Rich Beauty Company had an independent contractor.
Did you issue that independent contractor?
It was my understanding that she was doing it under the table. That she was,
So
for
you're
the
paying
year
money.
of, for
Did
some
you
companies,
owe
yes, we do.
$600 a business expense?
Hers was personal, so it was just her name. She was just a personal individual who offered
Did
what she
you,
was offering.
in Rich Beauty Company, did they list the $600 by 7 months or whatever as a business expense?
Oh, yes, under Rich Beauty Company, correct. Yes, it is a business
You issue a
expense.
1099. Did Rich Beauty Company issue a 1099 to Ms. Casario?
No, Rich Beauty Company did not issue a 1099 to Miss Casario.
Did you personally issue one?
No, definitely not.
But the checks were written payment to Ms. Casario for her services were drawn on the account of the Rich Beauty Company.
That's correct.
Ms. Casario,
Yes,
were the checks that you received all issued by the Rich Beauty Company?
yes.
Sued the wrong person. Sir, you sued the wrong entity. This matter is dismissed.
Okay, so should I now redo
Can't
that
give you
for
legal
Rich Beauty
advice.
Co? I'm
I
sorry?
can't give you legal advice. It's against the law for me to give you legal advice. So we're all set here today.